Who do you think is the greatest of all time? Is Teddy Riner in the writing?
He's the greatest judo winner of all time. Of that, there's no doubt. I mean, he is and I think if you asked him whether he was the greatest judo man in the world of all time, he would say, no, I'm not. And he's not the greatest judo man. Mm-hmm. There are people with, more beautiful judo in some ways, although he's got great technique, but he is the ultimate winner.
10-time world champ.
Yeah.
2-time gold medalist in the Olympics. I guess 2-time bronze medalist. He's probably going. Is he going to Paris?
Yeah,
he's going after it again. Yeah, so he's right here. I mean,
he's right there. This was just a couple of months ago, and then last week, he was out again, and he won again.
You think he gets gold medal this time?
There's people getting closer to him, right? Because he's obviously, his age-wise and the amount of time that he's been there, he's obviously somebody that is starting not quite at his best as he was when he was younger, but he, like I say, he still puts it on the line. He lays it on the line every single time. And then not only does he lay it on the line, but he beats them all, and last week he just beat Saito, who was a young up-and-coming Japanese fighter, and he beat him in the final. It was close, and he did well. There are certain people, the smaller ones, actually, not the taller ones, because we're saying about the big arm over the top that he likes and the dominant grip that he likes. There are people that can give him a hard time. Now, if at the Olympic Games he has 2 or 3 of those on the trot, it might work against him, and it's by no means an absolute certainty that he's going to win the Olympic gold medal. But he's got to be one of the favorites, top favorite. No matter what happens now, Teddy Riner is the greatest winner that, and if you asked the great Yamashita, he would say the same. There's nobody that's, and Yamashita was unbeaten in international competition. And I trained with Yamashita a lot over a 2-year period and got to know him quite well. And he was one of the greatest of all times. For me, he was one of the greatest judo men. And I'm talking about from a technical point of view, from a spectacular judo point of view, understanding the fundamental principles of how techniques work. Sometimes having, different techniques that work for you, so if one doesn't work and one particular direction doesn't work, you can change the direction completely.
In case people don't know, Yamashita is this legendary judoka, heavyweight. Teddy Riner, heavyweight. That's plus 100 kg. So he
would have caused him all sorts of problems.
Oh yeah, that's a cool. Who do you think wins, Yamashita?
Yes, I think Yamashita.
No,
but
wait. You think Yamashita beats Teddy Riner?
I think so.
Strong words. You think so? Yamashita is on the shorter side, right?
Yeah, and he finds it more difficult with shorter people, and so it would have been a very interesting confrontation. And I think if you asked Yamashita, he would probably say, that Teddy Riner, he's very gracious. He's really gracious. It would be really good. It would have been an unbelievable matchup. And I've got to say this, that, Teddy Riner is the greatest winner of all time.
Competition-wise. So it's interesting. Both of them, maybe you can correct me, but have this Osotogari, which is kind of trip that I never understood.
Yeah.
Like it's a very tricky thing to do, right? It's very easy to do maybe as a white belt. You roll in, you can understand, but like to do it at the high level.
You see any of the top guys now, especially if they're second time out, so like they might catch somebody by surprise. They come out and they go bang, oh, and you go, that was amazing, right? But if they fought again 10 minutes later, you go, you're not going to catch me with that, right? Yeah. You got a different situation here, and so it's slightly different. But the best fighters adapt like that, and they're able to see a situation, feel the situation, and they attack once and then go again and attack second, third time, and in the third time they make it work.
Yeah, both Yamashita and Teddy Riner with the Sotogari, they'll just like hit it over and over in the match.
Yeah, sometimes he'll hit first time and it won't go.
Yeah.
And then you make a readjustment of the way in. It's a little bit like, I mean, if you take a really easy way of understanding it is that if we're shooting at a target and all of a sudden you start moving that target, it's different hitting a moving target, but it's also different hitting a moving target that's trying to hit you as well. And that's our game, right? So we're not only trying to throw a moving target, we're trying to throw a moving target that's trying to throw us. So that makes it even more difficult.
Yeah, there's a few folks who what's coming. It's like over and over and over. It's the same attack. Anyway, with this Uchimata, it's like it's different. It's different. And there's not many people like that where it's like the same attack. I mean, there's other attacks also, but they'll just go after the same thing over and over and over.
When I watch great athletes, most of them can throw over both flanks. Not always going left and right, although our sport always, I mean, the katas are always demonstrated left and right. So like if you do something on one side, then can you demonstrate it on the other side, right? Okay, so can you do it equally? No, but you do it differently, right, on the other side. So, when I'm teaching, I don't teach left and right. I teach, so if I was teaching you to do a technique, first thing I'd do is say, I need you to take the sleeve and the lapel. All right. So I'd let you decide what was left and right. Okay. Because often what happens is we impart on people whether they're going to be left or right when we start teaching. You get a lot of teachers do that. All right. And they'll say immediately, what do you write with, left or right hand? And it's no indicator actually as to how we do judo, because I'm left-handed and I do more predominantly right-handed because I lead off my strongest hand. And actually most people do, so actually left and right is a bit of a trap sometimes, when we're teaching. Better to get, because we can go. So my point is that a lot of people can go both flanks. So they'll do something over this side and something over this side.
But anyway, was one-sided.
He was one-sided, but he could switch it. So he had a Cianagi as well on the other side. So he could switch it if he had to. Yeah.
And by the way, your opponent in 84, was he righty or lefty?
He was a righty.
So that drop left.
Yeah.
Sale. Where did that come from?
Well, I mean, again, it was, he could have probably, in other contests, he'd hit me with it several times and I'd just stopped it, and just at the wrong place at the right time for him. Right place and the wrong time for me, right?
That's life,
Yeah.
All right, let's watch some Teddy Riner.
This is final of Paris tournament. And this is against the Korean. The Korean had a great day, actually.
Again, shorter.
Again, shorter. So he does find that difficult. Have a look at Teddy Riner. Teddy Riner will try and catch the sleeve. He's after the sleeve and then the right arm over the top. That's the key point for Teddy Riner. And of course, what he has done, if he can't always catch the big Osodogari over his right hand side, he's been doing something to the opposite side.
And the Korean just went for a drop sale, and Teddy Riner blocked with the hips. I mean, he's
like I say, he has difficulty always against somebody smaller, dropping with the Cianagis.
Has Teddy Riner ever been thrown for Ippon?
I've never seen him thrown for Ippon, but he was thrown last week for a nice technique, and he's being caught more and more.
So it's getting close.
Yeah, and Tseyev in the final of the World Championships, they had a strange situation there where Tseyev was a technique down and then pulled off a counter, and they didn't count it, but then they overruled it. Unfortunately, I was commentating at the time, and I went for a score for Tseyev, and anyway, they overruled it, and then they awarded a second gold medal to Tseyev.
What can you say about Tamerlan Bashaev, who also gave him trouble?
Yeah, Basheyev and Tsayev are the two that could possibly go to the Olympics. So that was a close one there from Riner. That was closest
What
that
was
he'd
that?
actually been there.
Oh, wow.
So didn't have the sleeve, and he relies on the sleeve greatly. Big support there from the French in the crowd.
And also, maybe can you explain the penalties for stalling?
Yeah, so if they don't attack, if they've got a grip and they've got sleeve lapel or they got two hands on, if they're too passive and they don't attack, if they've got dominant sleeve grip, they don't attack. That was quite close as well from the Korean. So the Korean here, you can see, is having a real go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the penalties will come if they don't attack at the right time. Step outside the yellow area, they'll get penalized as well. That
That's dedication for
absolutely. I mean, it was really
Kochi.
close, wasn't it? A nice little koichigari there from the Korean. And if they touch below the belt line with the arms, so if they're not allowed to grab the legs. They've stopped grabbing the legs.
Wow, the Koreans really going.
The Koreans having a real good go at it.
I guess every single person in that division is probably training for Teddy Riner, right?
You think that Teddy Riner's been there a long time, you know, and he's got another guy here in the final of the Paris tournament. Yeah. He's got 18,000 people watching him. They're all on Teddy Riner's side. Yeah. They want him to win. And the Korean's out there on his own with his coach.
But also the pressure that on Teddy Riner.
Amazing pressure. You know, we interviewed him after this, and he said, "I've got pressure." You know, people go, "Well, is he going to do it at the Olympic Games? Can I do it in Paris?" He wanted to go to Paris. I mean, really, the last Olympic Games should have been it, shouldn't it? This last should have been the final one. But he's gone, "No, I've got to do another 4 years." 2 penalties are on the board already for the Korean. That Korean is really having a great go.
He's got a bit of a lift on him. He's going after it.
He's really going after it. You know, it's an amazing effort there from the Korean. And he's getting some last minute information. I don't know if you've ever seen his coach stood next to him like that, but it's amazing. He's 6'6", and he's about 4'6". He's a real pitch.
But full of passion. I love it.
Yeah.
He's like screaming.
So golden score.
How does golden score work? Can you say?
So the golden score. So if it goes without any point on the board from a throw or a hold down or arm lock strangle, then it goes into golden score. So 2 Shidos on the board apiece. One more mistake now, and it's going to be all over.
Oh, wow.
And that's it. Teddy Riner just manages to turn it on the Korean. And that went really against the run of play, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because the Korean did better, you know. But, you know, Teddy Riner is a winner.
Yeah.
And he says, right, okay, let's have more cheering.
Finds a way to score in the...
And I have to say, you know, that even when he loses, you know, he's always graceful.
Yeah.
He doesn't like it, but he's graceful.
Yeah, there was so much love there, celebration. It's great. It's great to see. It's great that he's doing it again, going after it. Chasing the gold medal again.
Well, he's chasing the gold medal. It's going to be in Paris, which is going to be even, you know, more fantastic. Yeah. You know, he's already the greatest. You said, you know, what has he got to do to be the greatest? He's already the greatest competitor judo's ever known. And that was even, you know, with the great Tani, you know. Mm-hmm. So Tani was amazing as well.
Are you part of the commentating team for Paris?
I'm part of the commentating team, but it won't be for IJF because it's independent broadcast.
Have you ever had an athlete sort of come up to you and ask, like, why'd you say that? Or, like, disagree with your commentary?
Do you know, I've got to say that 99.9% of everybody is so grateful that I've commentated their fights all the way through. Yeah. They know if they've messed up. Mm-hmm. So if I say something, and I'm never really disparaging, you know, but what I will say is, you know, it was a great throw by the other guy, or it was a great match. And if they made a mistake, so if they walk out, they know that I will say something that will, you know, mean something. So nobody really moans about it. I try and talk the truth if I can.
So who else would you consider as some of the greats? So I personally just, because I love the standing Seoinage, Koga. So there's, like, you know, the number of times he won the World Championships and the Olympic Games. but there's also like how you won and how you went into fights and what you did. You know, it's not necessarily about getting gold medals. It's about how you fought and how you represent the sport. And there's certain athletes like Inoue and Iliadis that are going after the big throws.
Only
Always.
after they want to win by ippon, you know. And I think that is the difference. Is they're the ones that come out there, and it's a bit like, you know, when Tyson stepped out there, you knew what you were going to get, you know. And if they went toe to toe, if Tyson had somebody going toe to toe, somebody was going to get knocked out. And you know, we got the same in judo when people go head to head and it's an open match. And I often talk about an open match. I say it's an open match. They're both trying to score. Somebody is going to get scored on. Somebody's going to go. You know, and that makes it exciting.
That's
and it's
so great.
when they come out and they close up, you know, then that's not an exciting match.
Is there a case for Ono, Shohei Ono, 3-time world champ, 2-time gold medalist?
I think that, you know, judo wise, he's got to be one of the greatest because he had such versatility. He could go right and he could go left. He could pick up. He could go to the ground as well. He won a lot of his earlier matches on the ground. I think his empathy, you know, and how he presents himself, sometimes he falls down. And I think that hopefully that should come with tutoring and, you know, of how to be a great champion after. You know, it's not just about what you do on the mat, but what you do off the mat as well.
So to you, a great champion is the whole package of how you present yourself when you lose, how you represent yourself just off the mat.
I think it's how you present yourself afterwards, how you are with people, how much you can help people. I mean, kids, and you know, they look up to these great champions because they want to be like them. So the worst thing is when you get somebody that's a bit of an arse and they're not presenting themselves in the right way. So I like to see somebody presenting themselves in the right way. And I think that it's something that can be taught. It's something that normally comes with a little bit of experience, a little bit of age, you know. And I like to think that I'm a little bit different now than I was when I was 19. Not that it was bad, you know. I just think I was just, you know, I see it often now, you know, just full of beans.
You're a beautiful work in progress. What about Nomura? Tadahiro Nomura, that's 3-time gold medalist.
Never lost an Olympic fight. So there's nobody,
right?
Nobody ever done that. You know what I mean? So that's got to be, it has to stand. He took 2 years off in between every Olympic Games and came back, did the right amount of events to qualify for, not only did he having to qualify, he had to qualify through Japan. Now, Japan, remember, have got the greatest depth. So they got people coming through all the time, you know, and then he had to win the Japanese trials. I mean, we had a 4-time world champion from Japan. This is when World Championships was every other year. And this is Shozo Fuji. And he was the greatest middleweight of all time. And never got to participate in the Olympics because he lost the Japanese trials twice in 2 Olympic, possibilities. So, you know, he had to qualify for Japan and then go to the Olympic Games and then do it there, you know. So sometimes some of the best people in Japan can't get outside of Japan. Look at the situation they had with Abe, and then they had Mariyama. Mariyama was, and Abe were both the best by far in the under 66 kilos category. This is for the last Olympic Games. And they sent one to the World Championships, one to the Olympic Games, and they both won gold medals, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's why the All Japan Championships is like legendary. That there's these battles, with Yamashita and all of them.
Well, Abe and Mariyama, they had a trials in the Kodokan. It was 26 minutes. I think it was 26 minutes it went. They were battling it out for 26 minutes.
That's great.